What's up, guys? It's Crash, and we didn't get anything about the main game today, so far at least, from DICE, and anything about the beta, stuff like that. So what I wanted to do is take a look back at the last gameplay we got, which is the technical test gameplay. Again, I was able to play it on a different account. I'm not under NDA or anything, so we can go ahead and freely talk about it. I get quite a few questions about the technical test in comments and in the stream, so I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a short review on it. I know I've already taken some of this information, done a time to kill video, which I think is very interesting. And also I looked at the known issues that DICE already knows about, the problems with the technical test. But today I wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and ugly of the technical test. Today, they did talk about the new mobile Battlefield game, but I really only care about mobile games when I'm sitting on the toilet. So basically, these things that I'm going to talk about are just kind of my opinions that I got with the little bit of time that I got to play this thing. I didn't get to play it a whole lot, but I think I have enough of an idea to tell kind of what's going on and give you guys my opinion. I've just seen quite a few questions about it over the last few weeks, so I think it'd be a good idea to talk about it because there's really nothing else to talk about. So we're gonna do the good, the bad, and the ugly. So with the good, what I really liked was the map. The orbital map was really cool. The scale was awesome. With 128 players, they fit on there nicely. The different areas of the map and points of interest were great. I really liked the diversity of the map. And I think from what we've seen, the other maps are gonna be great too. This got me really excited to see the other 6 maps in All Out Warfare for sure. The graphic detail of the map was actually really good as well. The trees, the vegetation reacted to the wind, to explosions. Leaves would fall off trees and things like that when they get hit with a tank or be near, a tank blast. A lot of the little detail things in the animations and stuff were actually really cool. And you guys have probably also seen in leaked gameplay that the explosions also looked really good, like Hollywood style explosions. That looked really good. And so what I did was 3 things in each of these categories, by the way. So the next one in this category is audio. I thought the audio was actually really good. The gun sounded great. There was a nice bass thump. It kind of felt visceral when you shot the gun, like you could kind of feel it in your body with the amount of bass that went off. I thought the gun sounded great. Reload animation sounded good. The voice lines, they're probably still working on those from the soldiers and things like that. Footstep audio was actually pretty good and reasonable in my opinion. So I thought the audio was definitely a high point of the technical test. Third was the gunplay. I've already done a time to kill video where we looked at weapon recoil, but I think they've made improvements over Battlefield 5's weapon mechanics that people generally liked. There are a few things wrong with it, and I think that those are fixed. It really looks like from the plots of the weapon recoil that they went away from totally randomized recoil, and it looks like we have some actual predictable recoil. So there will be a skill gap with these guns. You'll get rewarded for the time playing and learning a gun. So I think that's really good. The time to kill felt pretty good in my opinion. There was a nice variety of guns. You had some guns with high fire rates, low recoil, but kind of low damage. And then on the assault rifle side, you also had another one, the AK-24, that had a lot more damage, but it also came with a little bit slower fire rate and a higher recoil. So there was a nice variety there, but with that predictable recoil, I think that's going to help a lot. There was also no bullet deviation like we saw in Battlefield 1 where the bullet wouldn't actually go with their sight. So I think the gunplay is actually going to be an upgrade. So next I want to talk about the bad, and things in this category are just bad, but they're not quite ugly. And by that, I mean, the things in this category are probably going to be fixed. They are, or probably are, known issues. When we looked at that known issues video about the technical test, where we looked inside the closed form to see what DICE actually knew they needed to work on. And a lot of these things are probably going to be fixed. So I just wanted to talk about them because as of the time of the technical test build, they were pretty big issues. The first one on the bad list is optimization. And I know you guys are saying, Crash, it was capped at 30 frames a second. What's the big deal? It could very rarely hold 30 frames a second. And in combat, I saw a lot of single digit frame rates, and this was on a 2070 Super GPU, which is a pretty good graphics card. Granted, they did say upping your resolution can mess with optimization, and we were playing at 1440p, and it's a known issue that they are working on. We also know that they're working on map testalization, tessellizations, whatever that word is. They're working on optimizing the maps. And so this thing is something that's probably going to be fixed. But I mean, I played Xbox PUBG when it first released. I've seen bad frame rates. This is actually the worst frame rates I have ever seen in any game, because I saw like 4 frames per second when in gunfights, and that was really rough and a little bit alarming at the time. Then the death cards really didn't always work, and the kill feed was abysmal. We also know they're working on the kill feed UI. That's not a final thing by any means. It's just plain white text on the screen. But this can also be turned into positive, because the death cards were really cool. It showed a red card on the side of the screen that showed who killed you with what weapons and their loadouts. And also it just gave all that information about them, what specialists they were. And I really liked that, but it didn't work all the time. It oftentimes wouldn't even show up. And then also with deaths, the death animations and ragdolls were really bad. Like, you could tell that those definitely still need some work and are probably working on those. The bodies flailing around, it just was very buggy. So deaths in the game need some work. They're likely working on it. And then spawns, they were glitchy. And you were also in fights instantly, especially even with AI soldiers that were filling the lobbies. We'll talk about AI soldiers in the ugly section. But the spawns were really rough. Again, something that is probably going to be worked on. The animation was really glitchy and laggy, and also oftentimes it just puts you in fights right away in unwinnable situations, and they definitely need to work on the spawn logic just a little bit. So now let's talk about the ugly, and the stuff in the ugly category is just stuff that I'm worried about. On a higher level. It might not get fixed by launch. Again, guys, my opinions under limited circumstances. I'm just talking about this because I am excited about the game. I want to keep that hype level up, and there's nothing else to talk about. So the things that I thought were ugly, the AI. I did not like the AI. I'll admit I've kind of not been a fan of AI the whole time. I love a true multiplayer experience. This might not be something we have to worry about when we have full servers. As we know, they're just placeholders until the servers fill up. In the technical test, there was a lot of AI. There was no server browser, so servers weren't getting filled up. I think they were probably testing the AI. But when you shot at an AI soldier, they instantly threw a grenade at your feet. They fought the same way. And oftentimes things that would frustrate me in the game loop was I would have to be fighting AI all the time, and then I would be almost out of ammo, and then a squad of actual specialist players would come up, and I just wasted all my resource on shooting AI that I don't hardly get any points credit for or feel like I'm doing anything. And then I have to take on these specialists who are real players, and I'm out of grenades, I'm out of ammo, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience. The AI was almost just an annoyance. And then when they would also drive vehicles, I saw a lot of ATVs and vehicles stuck into walls, stuck into trees. They were basically sitting in vehicles. I don't know I didn't think to go up there and see if I could get in the vehicle and take it over, but I saw a lot of ATVs stuck on trees with just the engine wrapped out and things like that. So that was pretty rough and definitely immersion breaking. The second thing in the ugly category would be graphical glitches. There were a lot of graphical glitches with just textures exploding across the map that were unplayable. I don't know if this is going to be fixed when they go through and do optimization, but things with lighting, the sun, sometimes weapons would just completely explode and textures off things. I didn't play it very long, and I saw a lot of this. There had to be quite a few restarts. There were a lot of graphical glitches and bugs that worry me just a little bit. And then in the third category, in ugly, we have to talk about the fact that it didn't even work at all on the PS5, and it's just a little bit alarming whenever you have a technical test after this is going to be. You know, we've heard the earliest alpha, the game's in its best place ever, and an entire major platform it doesn't even run on. So there still has been hardly any. We're getting back again close to 5 5 weeks to a month from launch, and we haven't seen any large scale testing on a major platform. We haven't even seen a working build on one of the major platforms. So that's just something that sticks in my mind as a little bit alarming. But hopefully, guys, that's all I had today. Hopefully it gave you a little bit of insight into the technical test, kind of my opinion. Again, like I said, with the limited amount of playtime I got with it, I just hope you guys found this interesting and it tied you over a little bit until we hear about the beta. I was hoping this week. It's about got to be next week, but we said that before. I don't know what's going on. I appreciate you guys. Be a friend, tell a friend, and we'll see you on the next one.